Hey guys, welcome back. So the previous time I tried to make this video, something went wrong. I downloaded the document and I wanted to show it to you in Word rather than on the internet. But then the game bar of my recording software didn't really work in that way. So I'll just go through the website. So it is still on Google Docs. You can also have a look for yourself. It should have been last edited on June the 11th, but maybe there's some minor changes that went through. Yeah, so what am I all talking about? I'm talking about the Vermin Swarm Army the book design guideline. So this is for the legendary army book that Vermin Swarm is going to have. So the previous video I did was about how I actually dislike the current Vermin Swarm army book. But these design guidelines, they bring it way more in tune with what I would expect from Vermin Swarm. So I've seen the document already, so I'll just walk you guys also through it. So in terms of army composition, there should be somewhere that it's a bit of an emphasis on, well, it's going to be based on the Avrazi legions. So I think this is referring to the Avraz campaign that has been played around the Nine Age. That goes back a little bit to Roman culture, I believe. So you're going to divide your army up into some kinds of cohorts. Cohorts consist of 3 to 5 units. Um, that doesn't mean that they're the same units. They're just working together on a very basic level. So possibly you get like +1 discipline for your unit if your champion of your cohort unit is still alive. Um, for your Jazils or something. So they should be relatively small bonuses. They shouldn't increase the eliteness of the unit. Um, but it's a nice system where you got these small cubes of army basically working together. So Vermin Swarm should consist mostly of infantry supported by monstrous units and machines. So the backbone of the army should be expendable units with low equipment quality. And then first they had a guideline that they have specialized units which have higher eliteness that do all of the heavy lifting. That has been removed. So it's going to be mostly reliant on the infantry to actually also get the job done, which is in my mind a really good change. So you don't have these insanely powerful tools in the Vermin Swarm army that basically just win you the game. Like the other day I played a match against the Vermin Swarm, and then basically my opponent's Vermin Demon is 2 Dreadmills and 4 Thunderhawks, 7 models in total. Just obliterated my entire army, which is quite reasonable nowadays for Vermin Swarm. Um, Also because the core is regarded to be not that good. So basically they just stand back and watch how the rest of the army, the rest of the support tools that should be support, actually do all the heavy lifting. War platforms should be common, and everyone is expendable. So everyone is expendable. That is a major guideline there. So the headcount should be higher. You have more models. Models are all shitty basically, but you just have a lot of them. I think that's quite a neat approach, and I think that's also the approach that you should have towards Vermin Swarm. And then this is also quite important, or at least to me. So the Army book is supposed to address rock, paper, scissors, that's RPS, issues which the previous version of the rules caused. Um, so yeah, if you're talking about this Famine Demon, Thunderhawks, 2 Dreadmills, against the army I was playing, which was Saurian Ancient, this was really impressive. Probably if you play against Vampire Covenant with not a lot of support tools, or just a lot of vampires in the unit, then it's not really going to make that much of a difference if your opponent has Thunderhawks or not. So they want to turn that rock, paper, scissors effect a bit down to get it more balanced. So also the specialized units should have reasonable eliteness in the best case scenario. So they're mostly just toning down all these crazy choices, which I think is good. Primary playstyles, so you should be able to put a jack of all trades army down, you should be able to put a ranged focus with targets and countercharge army down, and a combat focused army. I think right now these are all also playable. It's just that some units really um, stand apart in the army. They also have clear horde theme, so I'm curious to see whether they will also include choices for units of like 18 rat ogres through horde. Because monstrous infantry, you normally don't really see them um, in horde formation, but it could be a nice opportunity to enable this. So you get like 2 attacks on your monstrous infantry model. Um, but then if you're in horde, then you're still gonna dish out 36 attacks, so that's still gonna be a lot. Yeah, so what should not be available, so combat armies built around fast shock troops. Um, yeah. Avoidance, especially MSU, that was definitely not the case now, I think, already, but it shouldn't be able. And hero mash should also not be possible. So the solo characters are also probably gonna go down in performance. Then the Vermin, they are individually weak cowards, but then in large numbers they're a different beast. They thrive in large numbers with units of at least 30. So I think that is a really good design line. So they don't explicitly mention that your units, once they fall below 30, that their capabilities should necessarily go down by a lot. But then again, they do have these 2 points. The attrition style should be in favor of the Vermin Swarm if they trade for like 4-1, which is already quite a big margin. And this is interesting because this is really unique in the game. So exponential increases of power with sizes. So basically, going from 40 to 50 guys is going to matter much more than going from 10 to 20 guys. I would expect. Um, so that could be really interesting. But then 10 or 20 rats are not going to achieve anything. 40 to 60 rats will get your stuff done. Yeah, the equipment. So generally, you have low quality gear. Yeah, I don't know if this was already the design for the previous book, but that didn't really come through, I would say. So specialist units do have high quality gear. So yeah, this is what I thought of what they would mention with the low quality. But plague flails are supposed to be high tech, dreadmills, jezails, and cannons. Um, but then again, once again, it's been crossed out that ranked infantry is cannon fodder. Um, so that is going towards a good direction for me. The ranked part of the army um, should be the one to lift the enemy army. Yeah, so they're talking here about the mobility of the armies, so it's mostly just infantry with average speed for the unit type, and a little bit higher mobility, I believe, uh, just in terms of movement. So you go to move 5, march 10 again. Yeah, so it's not anything special, just enough to match ranked infantry for also the support tools. And you don't have any cavalry, you don't have any flying chaff, you don't have any fast character mounts. So I don't know if the scurrying veil is gonna go out also. It's not necessarily a mount, but it's really fast. But maybe this gigantic rat, monstrous rat, is gonna be way slower than it is now. Um, and maybe I don't know, the help bit abomination goes 3d6. I don't know if it's gonna keep it. Then some special deployment section. So here they basically mentioned that every single unit that has special deployment is gonna um, use tunnels to do this. So you're not gonna get any scouts likely, but you're gonna get ambush at any point in the table probably. Um, but with some downside of maybe having your tunnel collapse or yeah, I think as long as they don't make this um, too guaranteed of a deployment, it's gonna be fine. Leadership. So the leadership is gonna be mostly centered around a group of politicians and bureaucrats. Um, and here they say that basically your army should be able to. Where is it? Um, you should be able to play the army quite wide, as long as you have a lot of different characters, basically, politicians and veterans. I think the politicians are going to be the characters, the veterans are going to be the unit leaders, so the champions, such as described here. But then here's the first indication that they really want to go for a high risk, high reward kind of mechanic within the army, and they explain it a bit more further down. But it should be a high risk, high reward discipline structure. So when everything works well, they can act very disciplined. But when things start going south, then the drawbacks are higher than for other armies. So they do emulate leadership by fear, thought, acts, such as decimation or execution. So you might just suddenly find your leader gone. Once a vermin is fleeing, it's hard to make it rally. So I think that is quite interesting. You're gonna get some discipline modifier probably. Additional losses once fleeing. That I don't know how much this is gonna influence the battle actually. Other than causing you to be decimated, but then by then it's really annoying if you're if a vermin swarm rally just with like 16 models out of the unit of 60 guys. And then backstabbing. I don't know how fluffy this is going to be, but yeah, maybe we will just see the Vermin player play against himself from time to time. Yeah, so the characters are going to be the most important thing to form the leadership in the army. But they do want to go for a guideline where you have a lot of tiny characters, basically. Um, I don't know where it is here, but so the characters should be required to work close together in close proximity. So I don't think they wanted to go for Vermin Swarm characters that are just jack of all trades and can do everything really well. So here the roles of characters should be either providing high discipline to troops, general for example, but with abnormally short range. This is quite interesting. So maybe you're even talking about like a 9-inch bubble or a 6-inch bubble even. 6-inch would be really bad unless you can extend it through the other characters. But then if your opponent decides to just smack into your lines and assassinate one of your characters, you might lose your chain of command and half of your army might be gone. So that might be really interesting. It's a new play style. I don't know if Vermin Swarm players will appreciate it, but it's definitely interesting. Providing rerolls for the BSB, that's going to stay in there, but you have a short range for it. But you can transfer your discipline bonuses through banners. But if it's on a character, then you still can snipe the character. So I don't know if they put it on the units of the Vermin Swarm, then you can probably quite effectively channel through your leadership to the rest of your army. If they put it on characters, then it might be more of a struggle if you have someone assassinating your character. Planning military strategies. So this reminds me a bit of the order system of Empire of Sun style, but they come to it later that it shouldn't resemble this. Spellcasting, so wizards, field tokens, so engineers. Magic defense, engineer, well, that's engineers. Or the bodyguard role. And then a special mention of assassins. And yeah, here they also state that the potential spamming of characters shouldn't enable putting very many characters in the same unit, so making a unit of characters, or to allow the army to field lots of character chaff, which is, I think, also a good point to mention. Some of you might have seen the video that I did about the 9th age Lagerlanda Liga against the dwarves, where my opponent had like 5 dragon slayers in units of slayers, and yeah, they basically just mutilated my my entire line. Yeah, then the ducks. I'm just gonna pronounce it as the ducks because I think that's a way funnier title than the Jew or what it could otherwise be. So what is the ducks? The ducks is the most elite single model in the Vermin Swarm army. So I think you're already there. It's a gigantic super half supernal, sorry. So this is the Vermin demon, obviously. So Given the guidelines above of the low eliteness of characters, this entry presents a big challenge for the design team, which is very fair to say. But the limited eliteness should result in a total eliteness clearly lower than the kitted demon legions, greater demons, or sylvan elves, gigantic characters such as the Dreamer. So right now I would say that the Vermin demon is on par or even better than some of the greater demons in the Demon Legions book. This is gonna go down. I'm really happy about this. So you're gonna fall overly clearly below the typical powerful gigantic characters. So you're no more AP10 likely, no more offensive defensive 8, no more agility 10, 9, no more advanced 8 maybe. I don't know. So it should enable a melee prowess, offense and defense on par with typical low-level monsters. Um, and of course, the point cost is going to go down then. They did mention here a 200 point cost, but that seems a little bit on the low side maybe. But this is the direction that it's going in. He should be big but not very skilled. It reminds me more of a Hellpit Abomination that has some other type of role. So a little bit like a Stegiosaur even, rather than a Tyroscutus, I would think, because the Tyroscutus is a bit of a defensive one, or a Chimera maybe even. Yeah, I think it's really interesting that they went this way. But it's design wise a really big challenge. So I think there's going to be a lot of hatred from the Vermin Swarm community. But I think it's one of the ways in which you can really push the army towards another direction. So he may have some innate magical capabilities, but that should not be his strong suit. So no plus 3-inch range, guys. Limited customization, but not necessarily non-existent. Leadership, it should have an unconventional leadership ability. So he should be a tyrannical dictator. So probably it makes your troops really obedient, but the property can work against them on the battlefield. So maybe once your unit has taken like more than half of the losses of the elf pool, they just run around and control over the unit goes to your opponent or so. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud here. So overall, the ducks should mean a sacrifice in terms of overall discipline for the army as a whole, and it should not be the optimal general. But still, if you want to take it, go ahead. I think this is a clear change. That's definitely true. There's an entire page on this model. I think I'm gonna appreciate seeing this character more than. But then, still, they do mention that it shouldn't be. They mention it somewhere that it shouldn't be a big just here. Yeah, it's neither an auto include or nor it should invalidate all the character choices in the army. But it also doesn't really mean that it should be really bad, obviously. Then for magic, so you're gonna rely mostly on Great Seers if your Vermin Demon is gonna run away. So yeah, they give a similar effect as a single powerful caster of another army. So I don't know what they're gonna do with the shards, but well, we will just see that. They're gonna have access to witchcraft, occultism, and thaumaturgy, which is a really awesome spell deck, I would say. And then the divination access is also possible, but you're not gonna be able to access the master level spells. I think witchcraft, occultism, and thaumaturgy together is already a blessing to get. Shooting is primarily done in low volumes by specialist models. So think Jezzails, think catapults, think the blade catapult and the lightning cannon. And then all tech-based shooting follows the description on the main theme C. I'll just go there quickly, which is the unreliable way of life. Well, this already says it basically. So it should be present in almost all technology and magic usage. Um, so the difference for vermin swarm, how stuff misfires, is that it results in a lot of dead vermin a lot more frequently. So you might just be shooting at your own models once again, like we had before. 9 gauge kind of put a limit on that. So you're gonna still play with this risk-reward considerations. So your reward is gonna be that the overcharge increases output efficiency. Similarly to the downsides, the upsides should not be so powerful that they outright win games. And the risk is that you'll probably lose HP on the wielder and or nearby vermin. So they are really talking about the balance here, instead of just going for always overcharging your equipment. Yeah, so then for close combat, so this is what I found the most interesting thing, I think. Um, because so far, basically everything is just toning down the capabilities of the Vermin Swarm. Even though they do say like high risk, high reward, things might just explode in your opponent's face rather than your face. But they don't really have the strong suit anymore that they used to have. But the way they are going to try to tackle this is that in large numbers, the sheer amount of the low quality attacks can just overwhelm many opponents. And they should go beyond the core rules and now allow for an exponential increase of combat capabilities with unit size. So probably if you go like in with five, yeah, 5 files, just like I don't know, 10 ranks, 50 guys, probably all of them are going to be able to strike or even more. And I think this is really interesting, that you actually the models that you field are actually doing something in the battle rather than just being a bunker for anything or just to top it. It's really going to be about the number of attacks, not the power of the attacks. You just have to feel like you're just being overwhelmed by rats, which is, I think, really cool because this also enables you to get these rolls where you go like, I only have 20 dice in my dice back. Okay, I have to roll these 3 times. I think this is really cool. Yeah, just mostly also because it comes from the rank and file guys rather than any special characters that completely mess up your opponent's plan. And then in order to help them out a little bit more, the life is cheap also gonna allow them to care less about suffering casualties. So probably you're gonna suffer like -1 combat rest for every 2 wounds suffered, or even better. Um, and it's really gonna be a grindy army in this way. Like your sword masters might just kill 10 vermin swarm, but if you're gonna get still 30 attacks back, and that's like 15 hits, and that's like 7 wounds. Okay, that doesn't seem really well after saves. It's like 5 wounds. But if the 10 kills that you count on your vermin swarm are gonna be halved, then afterwards you look at an equal score in terms of wounds. With rank bonus, with the banners and stuff, you're gonna get a win for the vermin swarm. So this really feels cool if this is gonna be the way. Then yeah, there's gonna be war platforms, mixed units. And then they should not have rules that mitigate being engaged in the flanks or rear. So they do focus on that also. I don't know if they're going to build in a certain weakness for this, um, or if you just have to go in and just kill a lot of vermin. Defensive capabilities, it's going to be health points. Health points are your defense. So just make sure that the health points that you lose are going to be the health points that you want to lose and not the support units. Synergies, yeah, the synergies should fall under one of the following. So either it's the cohort coordination that we talked about before. So you have maneuvers involving several units, and you should not really have techniques involving a single unit, like a testudo-like formation. That could be limited to something like Vermin Guard. and here it is that it differs from the Empire orders. Then we have characters supporting characters. So this is the politician characters working together to provide better leadership. So if one of them falls, probably it's a negative bonus for both of them. Then the main themes. So we already discussed a little bit this unreliable way of life. The horde. Yeah, this is already following from the rest. So 4 times 50 ranked infantry models should not be an uncommon sight. So this should be normal. So probably you can even go to double this or even more. Life is cheap, so everything should be expendable. The most important stuff should be able to stay alive. So the high ranked characters, expensive high tech equipment, but the rest is all really expendable. And Vermin Swarm players should be encouraged to sacrifice their own unit. So shooting into combat, hitting friends could be one way, but should not be the only way. So this is really interesting. Maybe you can also just decide that your unit, if it's gonna break, that it's just destroyed, or yeah, something like that. I think all in all, it's a really good change with regards to the previous book. I'm already looking forward to facing this army instead of the current one. Um, yeah, please let me know what you think, what your considerations are. If you want to see the document itself, it's under this link. Um, yeah, I'm just looking forward to this. Thank you for watching and see you the next time.